Hello, and you are watching and listening to the first episode of 15 Minutes or Less, and we're live here from the WebVid studio, and I've got with me lovely panel of people, so if you would like to wave and say hello. Hi everybody. Do you want to go through and introduce yourselves, because no one has a clue who you are. No one knows who I am either. I should probably do that first. Hi, I'm James Mabbott, or Mabs. I'll be hosting this thing. Sorry about that. And to my left I have...
Hi, I'm Amy, number 1, and we have...
I'd just like to correct that for the records. I'm Amy, number 1, and that's Amy, number 2, but hello. I'm Paris 2. There is no Paris 1. I'm the only Paris 2.
Paris 2, I mean, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things. Do you think we should just have 4 Amy's around this table?
It would be great.
You could be Amy 3.
Yeah. But I would like to also apply for Amy 1.
Okay.
There's only one.
3 Amy
Not
1.
going to happen.
I feel like this is so to contextualize what's going on. So let's talk about what this podcast is. That's probably quite good. So this is as I mentioned, our first episode of 15 Minutes or Less. So every week we go through a letter of the alphabet, we pick a random subject, and we talk about it for 15 minutes or less and see what happens. Now, you already mentioned Amy's there. I feel like Amy's could be a topic for the letter A, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to do animals. Now, before we get started, and before I start the clock, as this is our first podcast, I'd like to get your feelings on how you think this is going to go. And I'm going to go round the table and give everyone a chance to say, how bad do you think this is going to be?
I mean...
Sorry, what was that?
I think it could be great. There you go.
Amy Blaker, everybody.
Confidence there.
Amy White?
It could go anyway. You know, we're a good bunch of people. We have a laugh.
Yeah.
It could be quiet. Who knows? That's a mystery.
Paris too?
I think it's going to be great.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
that's your saying.
Very, very confident there, actually, around the table generally. Okay, well, I'm going to start the clock. So, as I explained, the way this works, we've got 15 minutes starting from now, and we're going to talk about this week's subject, which is animals. And I'd like to start this off by asking each of you, what is your favourite animal?
We're going to start with me.
Amy 1.
Yeah, I think we should start with Amy Blaker.
You watch it, you Paris 2.
I think I'm going to be biased on this one because I've got a cat. My favourite animals are cats.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why, other than the fact that you have a cat?
I mean, they're just so entertaining, and I do wish my cat loved me a little bit more. If she did, she would be the perfect pet, but I still love her anyway.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. Amy White?
I have always been a huge lover of sea life, so whales and dolphins are my absolute favourite animal.
But that's 2.
Well, yeah, okay, so dolphins, let's just pick one.
Okay, fine. That's good. But is there any particular reason?
I think just because they're one of the closest living beings to things as humans. They're one of the closest to us, and I've seen dolphins in real life a couple times, and they're just amazing. I mean, that you can just see them calculating you as you're looking at them.
Where did you see dolphins?
So in Mexico and in Miami.
Very good. Very interesting. And Paris, do your favourite animals? What animal?
I don't particularly have a favorite animal, but at the moment I'm really fascinated by jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Which is not actually a fish.
Okay,
I
interesting.
think they're very interesting because they are bloodless, boneless, brainless, and they don't have heart. But they're very interesting. They're also the only animal that is transparent. It's very interesting that they don't have brain. That's the part that really blows my mind.
Like most humans, yeah.
How do you make decision without the organ?
It's almost like they're aliens.
Some people do say that because they don't share DNA with anything on Earth. And yeah, they're very interesting. Some of them are immortal. They never die. They get old and they reverse the aging process to get young again.
I think that's quite a scary thought.
I think that's amazing.
I think it does make them aliens. to be able to do that? And how do they know? Like
Well-
how old?
Well, they get to the certain point and they just reverse the age. So they get like Benjamin Button. They get reversed and they become young again. And they could do that cycle over and over again.
Don't they also break off like a limb sometimes, and they let that limb like becomes like the little babies and.
Yes, so there are different type of jellyfish. There are this type that they don't need other sex, so they asexual. They can reproduce, and they are the ones that can be immortal.
See, I've got lots of favourite animals. It's not a jellyfish, not a dolphin.
Yeah.
I guess in some ways, like, my appreciation for animals has greatly developed in the last few years. Like, growing up, and I guess, like, I was kind of indifferent. I was like, yeah, animals, yeah, they're fine. But, like, I quite like them a lot now. And there's a few. Like, I would have said cat, but you said cat.
You have to say one though, like you told
Why
us.
is that? Why do you listen?
I think because I've lived with a cat recently.
I think
Yeah.
having an animal really improves your appreciation for animals.
I really
That
like
makes sense.
I really like giraffes because I like their faces
yeah.
and their long necks. They're pretty hilarious. I fed some giraffes in Sydney, and that was hilarious. They have like ginormous tongues and take a carrot out of your hand. I mean, I just didn't stop laughing. But I would probably say my favourite animals are bears.
Why bears, James?
They got good faces. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They know what I mean.
In what way?
They're really cute.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're
They're
cuddly.
yeah.
The baby bears are really
I'm
cute.
answering for James.
Yeah, no, I mean these are good, valid points. Yeah, they got great faces. I think there's this
Yeah.
documentary that was actually kind of panned, but like the BBC did this documentary about 5 or 6 years ago called The Great Bear Stakeout, and it was narrated by Billy Connolly, and it was they did following like a group of I guess like researchers, and they went to Alaska to go and look at brown bears in that area. And it's just fascinating watching their behavior and how much personality they've got. And actually, particularly in Alaska, they're quite interesting because they don't ever really come into contact with humans, and they're not really hunted in the same way as other bears are, which means, you know, they don't fear humans in the same way, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I didn't realize there's actually only 8 types of bear, and one of them is not a koala bear. Koala bears aren't bears, they're just koalas. So there you
It's
go.
really interesting. Even 8, I think, is a lot.
Yeah, polar bears. And
I
polar
like
bears,
that
Pandas.
as well.
only type of carnivore. So like other bears do eat meat, but they're the only fully carnivorous bear.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I guess because there's no plants or green around where they live.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, where do they live?
North Pole.
North Pole. Yeah, that's right. Very good. But then
They
But-
don't care about planet.
there's what are the other ones? The ones that everyone likes, pandas. Yeah, but they don't eat any meat.
No.
They just eat like bamboo and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Are they classed
They're the
as a
hippie
bear?
ones.
yeah, they're a bear. They're a type of bear. Panda
Are
bear.
they?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, of course they are. Gosh, wow.
Educational.
Dear.
I suppose that's another thing that's worth really pointing out about this podcast. We are literally just talking.
Learning
Like none of
as
us are experts on any of these
Clearly,
things that we're
I'm
talking
not.
about.
I mean, I just I'm learning
No.
here.
Yeah. So there you go. But then the other 6 types of bears, which I won't name them all because I don't know. But they're all omnivores. So there you go. You've learnt about some stuff about bears. What type of bear would you be?
I don't think I would like to be a bear.
I-
I would definitely, if I want to be an animal, I would like to be a bird.
Bird.
I don't want to be underwater or on the ground. I would definitely would like to be able to fly. Yeah.
I've got a bird.
You do?
No.
What's your bird?
She's a little budgie.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she is or where she came from, but basically my friend found her in the park and I took care of her over Christmas and we just bonded and I am now her owner. Yeah, that's basically it with that one.
And Amy, you have a cat.
Bubbles.
Yeah. And you said cats are your favourite animal.
Yeah.
Is it because you have a cat?
Yeah, purely because of being around a cat all the time makes it my favourite animal. I think
They are great animals.
Yeah.
I have had cats all my life, and they are great. Don't underestimate cats, guys. If you've never had one,
Although
don't underestimate them.
She's very independent though, and she knows that. She's like, I don't need you guys, but apart from when you need to feed me, that's it. I'll try and pretend to be friends to you, and that's it. That's the most love you'll get out of her, is when she needs feeding. Whereas obviously a lot of people that have dogs will always say that the dog is truly loyal to them. And I think if I'd had a dog, I'd definitely be a dog person. But I've not had that. So
Yeah, I don't think you need that.
has anyone had a dog though?
No.
We had, as I had as a kid, we had 2 dogs.
What breed were they?
German Shepherd.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, big dogs.
Yeah, because my stepdad, I'll try to explain this very quickly. We had gold in our house because it was related to my stepdad's job. So those dogs were actually guarding the house.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you become friendly with them?
Yeah,
Oh, so
dogs,
like
that's as Amy says, that's the main difference between cats and dogs. Cats are very independent.
Yeah.
They don't really need you. They can entertain themselves, but dogs are really,
Dependent.
yeah, you
On
get really
everything.
dependent. You get emotionally involved with them.
Yeah.
See, that kind of works for me though, because I don't have all the time to give a dog the time. So when I want to cuddle, I'll just pick the cat up and it'll have a cuddle.
You wouldn't be able to do that
And
with
then,
my cat.
oh really?
No.
Yeah. See, I've been quite lucky. I've had cats that have been really cuddly and loved attention and loved. Like I had one cat that followed me everywhere, and he passed away last year, and it was really sad. But he literally was my baby from the minute he knew who we were, and it was probably when he was just like converting from kitten to cat. He literally wouldn't leave my side with me all the time. Wait for me on the drive when I got home from a night out. Would literally wait for me at the top of the stairs when it was bedtime. He would sit on my lap. If ever I said time to go to bed, he'd jump off the sofa and run up to the top of the stairs and meow at me until I got to the top of the stairs. And he just literally was everywhere. So it just depends, I think, on your animals. Like I've been very blessed with the animals I've had. They've all been really lovely.
People have got very strong opinions, though, isn't it? Like whether they're a cat person
Yeah.
or whether they're a dog person.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of a mix. I could have any animals. I'm just an animal lover in general.
I feel like it's going to be an argument that rages with some people for all time. And some people actually believe, obviously, cats are also aliens and have come and are overlords that have been here since the time of the Egyptians. But that's one of the things about cats, isn't it? Well, no, they think that cats domesticated themselves, don't they? They think cats domesticated
possible.
themselves because they knew they could manipulate us.
I read something recently that said it's been proven that cats do actually choose to ignore you. So they're acknowledging that you're talking to them, but they can choose to ignore you.
That
They
is
know what they're
100%
doing.
my cat.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. It was like, now I want food, now I want this, now I want that. Great times. So I want to put this out there. So we've all each selected an animal at the top of this episode that we've said is our favourite animal. I'd like you to take a moment to think about yourself as that animal. And what?
Oh, I don't want to be jellyfish. No.
I'm sorry, Parastu, but you know, these are the rules that I'm imposing immediately. What name would you give yourself as that animal? So, like, for instance, you know, if I was a bear, right, and I'm hanging out in the woods, I'm sort of like going around doing bear stuff, like scratching trees and whatever.
I cannot imagine you as a bear. You don't have enough fat to be a bear.
I'm a very lean bear that has come out of hibernation. Thank you very much. They get it. Hugo. I'm thinking Hugo.
Why Hugo,
I
James?
don't know. Just think about it. Like, get that picture in your mind. Bear, brown bear walking through the woods. Oh yeah, look, it's Hugo off down the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, Hugo the bear.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. You do better, Blake. So you can pick a cat name.
Sass, the cat.
I feel like this is being drawn on real life experience from your cat.
Yeah, I feel like that would be me as well. I feel like if I was a cat, I would be how my cat is, to be honest. So,
Sass.
Sass, the cat.
Sass the cat.
Yeah, because you have a sassy cat. It's just so it goes, yeah.
Amy as a dolphin.
That's a really hard one because dolphins are like really playful and stupid. But like whenever you picture like a dolphin in your mind, it's like they're all like, you know, crazy, they're having fun, they're out there flipping around in the water.
Jeff.
No, Jeff. See, I keep getting silly names in my head like Sally the dolphin, and Sandy, and I'm like, it's not what I would choose. I do not like the name.
Isn't Sandy from
myself.
some sort of kids cartoon? Oh, it's from SpongeBob, isn't it?
Sandy. Yeah, she's
Sandy.
a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sally
no.
the squirrel.
Okay.
You don't want-
Sally, because
No,
it
who am I
sounds
thinking? I'm
like
thinking of
silly.
the whale.
Yeah, like
That's what you think
Yeah.
of Sally?
so, sort of. It's not a really common name for our generations, so I guess I don't know.
Not something cliche like
Sally the
Echo the dolphin. Flipper.
Well, Flipper was the first name that went in my head, but only obviously because of the shows when I was a kid. No, it's such a hard one.
Finn.
I'd have to sit. I'd need more time.
Okay, well, I guess we could. I mean, I'm riveted. So let's we'll move on to Paris Doo, because this is the one I'm really interested in. If you were a jellyfish, Paris Doo, what would your name be?
I'm thinking like an old name, like Agnes.
Yes.
I'm like a very old lady living in the ocean for like 1,000 years. And I'm asexual, haven't been married.
Has a lot of cats. Yeah.
Cats underwater. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Would you say
Agnes, the jellyfish.
that a jellyfish was your spirit animal?
Hope not. Yeah, I don't want to be jellyfish. I just, like I said,
Then why did you pick it?
I think they're very interesting. I don't have necessarily a favorite animal unless you consider human an animal.
I think that's a.
So humans.
Would
Right.
you choose that?
Yeah.
Humans as a favourite.
I think humans are, no offense to animals, but they're way more interesting.
All right, we're going to have to hang and leave it on that thought, unless Amy White's got a last chance to give us her dolphin name in the next 15 seconds.
Come on, you've had 15 minutes or less now.
Is Philippe
Philippe.
you know, like flipping Philippe?
Philippe the dolphin.
That'll do.
That's it. So that's it. 15 minutes. All done. Look, you hear it.
Oh,
it's going.
amazing.
Thank you.
Dismissed.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think that was
What a ride.
terrible.
It had some moments.
I mean, I feel touched that we've
I
had
will
this
never
conversation.
forget
Oh, good.
Philip the dolphin.
Bad.
Philippe.
Philippe, sorry.
Philip, I'm a girl.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd just like to say to anybody that has watched this episode of the podcast or listened, thank you. You lived it. And we'll be back for another episode where we'll be moving on to the letter B. And the subject's going to be bands. So who knows what's going to happen and what's going to be said. But thank you very much for listening. And we'll be back next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye.